Kind of see how it brings back more life into like the bass drum a little bit, because that's
fuck, dude.
so yeah. Right.
Oh, that's nice, so you can adjust the height before you actually lock them in like that.
Yeah, that's the awesome thing about the Iron Cobras. It's just like numerous points of adjustment that you can make. And it might be easier once these are hooked back in. Make sure that these are hitting flat against the. See, it's kind of slightly tilted. Maybe I'll just kind of leave it somewhat loose until I get them hooked back on, and then
tighten them up once you
tighten it up once I know it's hitting flush against the. But yeah, it's from the reviews I was kind of reading, a lot of people liked the contact and the overall feel that these would provide, and the overall kind of. Josh with the wood ones called it slapping, like with the wood mouths, kind of gave it like a slapping sound, but it sounded awesome on the outside of it, like what you could hear coming out. So I'm curious if that's going to be kind of the same with these rubber ones, or if it's going to just be like a regular kind of thud.
Well, I'm kind of curious because, like, you know, there's different kinds of bass drum sounds too. Like, he had, like, you know, since he did so much percussion there and like hand instruments and everything, his trap set kind of reflected that a little bit. And so, like, even his bass drum, like, it was a little more. I guess woody sounding is probably the best way to put it there. Like, there's that real warmth to it there. Whereas these might make like just a little bit more like attack to it,
like a punch to it.
Like instead of a boom boom boom, it's like kind of thing.
Yeah. That's it.
Damn, that was easy.
Yeah, this one was easy. Just murdered out my my drum pedals. It's always fun to like take off like the snare head on this particular snare drum, because I always like seeing like all the plies in here. I'm pretty sure it's a 20 ply snare, which is it's not the norm. Like I remember when Toby from Jacobson worked on a little bit, he's like, I've never seen anything like this before. So that was kind of like a yeah, it's pretty cool.
20 plus like the snare. Oh, holy shit!
Like
wow.
Yeah, if you count, I think, I don't know, but it's very, very thick.
That is cool.
And you can kind of count the rings within the holes too.
And that's a maple snare too, right?
God, I wish I remembered what it was. I'm pretty sure it's maple. So we're going to try this Remo. It says it's a controlled sound coated snare with the dot in the center here.
I'm actually kind of interested to see if the coating, like if that has any effect on the sound. Because, yeah, like it was really neat when you said you got coated heads like the toms there. Because that'll kind of even things out. I'm kind of curious if it, like, evens out the sound of the snare a little bit.
Well, it's supposed to be ideal. Like a lot of rock and jazz drummers will use like a head like this. So I think I've mostly gone coated on my snare, no matter what I have on the toms. So that has a pretty good feel. Only recently, like Remo has kind of started doing some pretty, crazy stuff. There's I believe it's the Emperor or the Emperor X. Like it's completely black. Like the head that is on the snare, you can buy it on for your toms too, are completely black. Which gives it a kind of cool look, but they're really reinforced. Like Travis Barker used them because he's such a heavy hitter.
How much do those things cost?
They were a little bit more. I mean, not too expensive if you buy them online. Retail they would be pretty expensive, but a little bit more than I was looking at spending at the time. And just from a pure aesthetic view, having one drum with a black head and the rest with the white would look kind of ridiculous.
Had you ever had to replace like that bottom snare head?
I think I have once, and that was when I replaced the snare itself. A couple of these I think I broke, and so that was when we were living in Minot, and Toby was working on it, and he said this was one of the better snares that he had. So he put that on there with this new resonant head as well. But I think that's the only time I've ever changed out a resonant head before. But yeah, apparently you can get pretty creative with style, because you can buy even coated resonant heads too. Or you could put another batter down there. It just kind of tighten it up top here some more. So yeah, you can really get kind of funky with how you have it set up. That's one thing about, I guess, drummers, is that they're always experimenting and trying new things. Not me, per se, as it takes me forever to replace anything, but I'm told that it's fairly common.
Just from that, like, I can still tell that it's not quite as piercing
Not quite
as it was there. Like,
from the first time?
well, I mean, like,
Or from
the old head there.
other head? Yeah.
Like, that was very much like, it's a fucking thunder crack, basically, was what that thing was.
Yeah, I'm already telling, it's almost like there's some new life being brought back here.
Just gonna kill the microphone. Let's do it.